Have you ever used a conditioner that feels rich, but somehow your hair still feels the same after you rinse? A lot of people assume that means they need more oils, more butters, or a heavier mask. But very often the real issue is how the conditioner is built, not what it's made with. Let's talk about that. Most conditioners feel great in the jar, smooth, creamy, and luxurious. But the moment they hit wet hair, they thin out, slide off, and rinse away before they've actually done much. If you've ever wondered why your conditioner feels nice but doesn't last, that's not your imagination. Today we're talking about what actually changes when a conditioner is built as a paste, and why structure matters more than most formulas admit. Most conditioners are built like lotions: high water content, moderate fatty alcohols, and just enough conditioning to feel good, but not enough structure to stay put once water hits a system. Hair doesn't condition in a dry environment. It conditions under flow, friction, and rinse-out pressure. When a formula doesn't have internal structure, the conditioning agents dilute, migrate, and rinse away before they can deposit evenly. A paste-built conditioner changes that, not by being heavier, but by being intentionally structured. So if the problem isn't oils and it isn't more butters, the real solution is building a conditioner that keeps its integrity when water hits it. That's where a cream paste conditioner comes in. This isn't a mask, it isn't a balm, and it isn't a thick lotion pretending to be something else. It's a system designed to stay where you apply it, long enough to actually condition the hair fiber. This is the part where everything we've been talking about becomes visible. You'll see when the conditioner stops behaving like a lotion and starts behaving like a paste. Not because it's thicker, but because the structure is finally in place. Let's walk through how this cream paste conditioner actually comes together. Okay, we are starting with our water phase, and this part is all about hydration and flexibility before we add the richer conditioning pieces to our distilled water. We're going to be adding glycerin and sodium PCA. The glycerin, of course, is a humectant, as is sodium PCA. This is for moisture retention, and it's going to give us controlled moisture, enough slip to work through the hair without making it feel gummy. So we're going to add our glycerin first, and then the sodium PCA. Next, we're going to be adding rice protein for conditioning and strengthening, as well as liquid panthenol for shine and moisture. These are going to help with resilience while you're detangling. They're there to support the fiber under tension, not to bulk up the hair, just to keep it from snapping while you work through it. So again, rice protein and liquid panthenol. If you're going to be using powdered panthenol, because that's all you have, you're going to be using a lot less, roughly between 0.2 and 0.3% for the powder, because usually the powdered panthenol is 100% active. Check with the supplier where you got it from, but I am using the liquid today. Right, as we always do, we're going to be adding our chelating agent so that minerals don't interfere with conditioning deposit. And lastly, to our water phase, we're going to be adding some cetrimonium chloride, which is a cationic conditioning agent and detangler. It's going to give that instant comb through slip. That's the first thing that you feel when this hits wet hair. Don't worry that your disodium is not fully dissolved. We're putting this in a water bath, and that is going to help to dissolve that. That is it for our water portion. Give it a little bit of a stir. We're going to set that aside and start building phase B.
So we're going to start out with emollient cushion, and this is where we control the richness and the weight, okay? We're going to start off with BTMS 50. This is our primary cationic emulsifier and conditioner. It's going to form the main smoothing film, soft, controlled deposit, but it still rinses clean instead of leaving a heavy coating. Followed by Incroquat CR, which is another cationic emulsifier, also a conditioner. This is going to layer on top of that and gives more, on top of the BTMS, it's going to give more plush, a velvety glide, especially helpful for dry or coarse hair types. Then we are going to be adding some fatty alcohols. We're going to be adding cetyl and cetyl alcohol. So the cetyl alcohol is for structure and slip, and then the cetyl alcohol is going to be for viscosity and structure. These don't condition. They're going to shape the texture and control the drag so that the product feels rich without getting waxy. Okay, speaking of emolliency, we have mango and kokum butter. The mango is an emollient. They're both emollients. And we're going to be adding the mango for the richness. We're going to be adding the kokum butter for firmness. Both of these are going to give body and smoothness, but at low level so that they don't feel greasy upon your rinsing out. So there's your kokum and your mango. Okay, next we're going to be adding PEG7 Olivate, and this is sold under Olivem 300. This is for emolliency and slip. And we're also going to be adding isoamyl laurate. This is for slip and spreadability. Both of these are going to act like lightweight lubricants. They help the product spread, they reduce friction, and they make detangling feel softer. So let's go ahead in with our PEG7 Olivate, which is your Olivem 300. And your isoamyl laurate. That is a fantastic ester. It is part of my cascading ester blend that I use all the time. Okay, and next we're going to add in some vitamin E. Of course, this is our antioxidant. It's here mainly just for the oils, not as a conditioning active. Right, and for right now, that's it for the oil phase. We're going to go ahead and weigh our water phase. We're going to write that number down because we are going to lose some of this water due to evaporation. All right, I've got that. I'm going to put a little tin foil over the top. Set this in our water bath. And we're going to set our oil phase also into the water bath. I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to combine those two. Okay, both of these have been taken out of the water bath. We're going to go ahead and check. We have 158 on our water and 169 on the oil. So they're within 10 degrees of each other, which is fine. We're going to go ahead and start incorporating both of these slowly. Going to keep on giving this a little bit of a stir, and in a second I am going to take my homogenizer to it. Just for roughly 60 seconds, just to make sure that everything is going to be emulsified nicely. Then we're going to switch to the overhead stirrer, and as this starts to cool down, we can add our remaining ingredients. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, let's take our homogenizer to this. Again, just for like 60 seconds. That's actually good enough. I didn't even need 60 seconds. Again, you don't use a homogenizer the same as you do a stick blender. You can already see this nice, thick paste forming. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn this on low, and this is going to continue homogenizing everything nicely. It's also going to help with cool down. I'm going to scrape these sides a little bit. This is already becoming a really, really nice, thick cream paste conditioner. It's already getting there. All right, every once in a while, just come on in and scrape this down. If you don't have an overhead stirrer, that's completely fine. Go ahead and use your stick blender. Just want to scrape these sides down and make sure that everything is being incorporated all together. We're going to bring this down to roughly around 125, and then we're going to start adding the next two ingredients. All right, we are at 125. So we're going to go ahead and add the next two ingredients on our list here. So the first one is going to be dimethicone, which is an emollient. We're going to use this for slip and frizz control. We're also going to be adding ammo dimethicone, and this is for conditioning and shine. And this is where the silky slip comes from. The ammo dimethicone tends to deposit more on the areas that need it instead of coating everything evenly so that you get, nice smoothing without heavy buildup. The goal here is to control the smoothing, low friction, and a clean rinse feel. So let's add our dimethicone. And the ammo dimethicone. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm saying it how it's spelled. All right, we're at about 117, so we can go ahead and add our remaining ingredients. And those are going to be some extracts as well as my fragrance. So the extracts are going to round out the softness and help with glide. This is more about feel than function, really. And the extracts that I've chosen today are aloe and chamomile. And again, I have mixed that with my fragrance oil. Caribbean Escape is what I'm using for my fragrance oil. So we're going to add those extracts and the fragrance oil right here. Then we can add our preservative. And this is going to go in after everything else so that it's, stays effective. We don't want this main batch to be too hot before we add this, okay? So this is going to be our Germal Plus, Liquid Germal Plus. I'm going to turn this off and just give these sides a little bit of a scrape. Things are still quite warm at 117. You can see, though, I'll give you guys a little bit of a look right now. You can see how nice and creamy and silky this is and how thick. That's what we're aiming for. Not a lotion, not a like a thick body butter that you have to smear on your hair, but a thick paste. This is what we're aiming for. It's going to get thicker than this because I am going to leave this overnight. All right, let's keep going just a little bit. Then we're going to check the pH because with a conditioner like this, pH performance is critical. Slightly acidic is going to keep the cuticle compact, improve the slip, and it's going to reduce frizz on the rinse out. I'm going to be aiming for a 4.5 to a 4.8 on pH. Just give that another second or two. And then we can go ahead and test that pH, make our adjustments using lactic acid solution, on my stock solution. I have a 10% lactic acid stock solution today. That's what we're going to be adjusting the pH with. Alrighty, here's our beautiful hair conditioner so far. Look how silky. That's just gorgeous. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make a 10% solution and check the pH. See, it's so thick it won't come off the spoon. That's what we want. Just a smidge more. Doesn't have to be precise. All right, we're good. Go ahead and give that a little bit of a stir. All right, let's check that pH. All right, we are coming in at about 5.77. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and use my lactic acid solution in the main batch. I'm going to bring that pH down to around 4.5 to 4.8. Bring it back in a second. Okay, guys, we are at a 4.55, so I'm happy with that. Let's give this one final stir. We're going to get this into the jar. I'm going to go ahead and leave this overnight. It's only going to be a few seconds for you guys. Again, overnight for me. Boy, is this a nice texture. And it's going to continue to get thicker overnight. Look at that. If that's not beautiful, boy, I don't know what is. Look at this beauty. That is beautiful. Hang out for a few seconds, you guys. I'll bring you back. It'll be tomorrow for me. It is the next day. Let's take a look at the texture. That's really lovely. So everything that we built here, the hydration, the slip polymers,
The protein, lightweight esters, and the selective silicones that we used work together to give cushioned, detangling, controlled deposit and a smooth, rinse-clean finish. I personally cannot wait to try this on my hair. This looks really lovely. When a conditioner is built as a paste, it doesn't rely on hope, heaviness, or hype. It relies on structure. That structure keeps conditioning agents where they belong, on the hair, during the exact moment that they're needed the most. If your conditioners have always felt nice but never really felt effective, this is the shift that changes everything. I hope you found this tutorial educational, and if you make and use this and you have fine hair, use less of the product. Mid-length ends, not your scalp. Thanks for hanging out with me today at Creation Station, and I'll see you in the next formulation. If you're a YouTube channel member, the written formula and instructions are waiting for you in the description box. If you're not a member, you can also get this formula along with more than 100 others and all future releases by joining my Patreon, or you can pick it up individually in my Etsy shop. All the links are below. Choose what's right for you.